Vince will say stuff to you, and he'll break things down from elements of gentrification to African transition from history to slavery and all these things that are just percolating in his mind. He's funny, but it's also like he's so intelligent. It's like when you catch up to Vince's intelligence, he's like, yeah, I knew. he's like so oh yeah, he's so nonchalant. He's like, let me break down to you why, like at the end of the day, why Cheetos is trying to like rip us off, and he'll like break it down, and then you go, I never thought about it. He'll be like, y'all want some Cheetos? Like,
Real 92.3, Big Boys Neighborhood. It is your girl, Natalia, here, and we are with the one and only Sinqua Walls.
What's up, what's up?
We're really excited, and we're going to, talk about White Man Can't Jump. We're going to talk about your career and everything. I actually want to start a little bit from the beginning, because I was really curious to know, like, what brought you to acting?
Interesting enough, and we were talking off camera about my mother, so I'll tell another story about my mother. Growing up, and I think a lot of people in LA know, like there was always different ways to get cable, and we had a non-traditional way. We had a more spliced together way. There was actually a guy that used to hang out at our local grocery store with a card that said, on the card it said K Bull, and he'd hand you the card and he'd go, I'll do your cable. And so he came to our apartment at the time, and he had, he spliced our cable so that we got a multitude of channels. And my mom actually picked all the movie channels and Lifetime and Cartoon Network. And so I grew up just watching a lot of movies and just fall in love with storytelling and fall in love with, characters that people were playing. And then one day I was watching this movie called The Radio Flyer, and I got bored. And so I set up chairs in my room and I started acting out the scenes in the movie. Yeah. Not knowing that I was developing a love for it, but it was just something that I found entertaining and joyous to me. So it really just became more of a therapeutic outlet and a form of expression and a creative tool just to express myself. And it all came from my mom splicing the cable with cable.
But what was the moment that you actually realized? Because I think as kids we like to play and do different activities. But when did you go, oh, this could actually be something I do in my life as like a career? Yeah,
that didn't happen until probably high school.
Okay.
And I was doing another play in school, and I was meeting people because a lot of people's parents were very affluent, and they also had resources, and I was meeting actors who had it as a career. So I think growing up in the neighborhood I grew up in until I went to this other high school, I didn't know that it was actually viable. Yeah. I didn't know that it was a goal until I started meeting these people, and they were no longer in the screen anymore. Yeah. They were human beings that I was interacting with, asking questions, and they were telling me their journey, and then I was going, okay, this could be something that I can do. And so I went on a journey to play basketball in college and everything like that, but when I knew this was not a fallback plan, but was the paramount thing, it was because I started meeting people who represented the path that I wanted to be on, and it became tangible for me.
Was there a movie that really sticks out to you in your childhood? I know that you mentioned the Radio Flyer movie, but was there another one that would be like, this is my movie?
Meteor Man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Robert Townsend. I think he's iconic. He was one of the first black superheroes that I ever saw. Yeah. Because at that time I don't think we had as much representation then, and Meteor Man was one of the first. And I remember Meteor Man, the Golden Lords, the Baby Lords. I had that on VHS, and then I got it on DVD, and I watched that movie maybe 11 times.
See, this is what I love about representation, because I think there's some people out there that really, truly don't get it, but when you really do see someone that either looks like you or you find out they're from the same city as you, it makes you really go, oh, this is possible.
Absolutely. I think that's what's so important to me, as well as a representative of all community, right, is to make sure that, like, okay, if you can see it, then it's something that you can tangibly do. It's another thing when you can hear it and someone can tell you, but when you can touch it and it's like right in front of you, you go, oh, you look like me, you talk like me, you walk like me, you're from my neighborhood. This is possible.
Does it trip you out to think that there could be someone watching you? There probably is someone watching you right now and is seeing you, and in their mind they're going, oh, I can do it too if he can do it.
I hope so, right? Like it trips me out in a way of just being very grateful, because I've had so many different trailblazers and mentors that pave way for me, and I'm hoping that a part of this journey, I don't think it's our job to live in it ourselves. I think it's our job to be a conduit of this spirit that we get to inhabit, and I'm hoping that people look at me and they say, hey, I want to be like him and even higher. So my goal is that all the generations that come after me are saying, like, I want to be like him, but I want to be even better. So when I run into kids and they say, like, I want to be like you, I'm like, be better than me.
Aw, you're
so
sweet.
I'm inspired by that.
That's really nice of you. Yeah. So White Man Can't Jump, you go, you hear maybe they're doing, what would you consider it? Would you consider it like a reboot, a reimagining, a retelling? What would you say it is?
I think that's really good. Those two that you said, a reboot and a reimagining, right? But it's inspired by the original. And I think that's something that I hope the audience takes away from this weekend as they watch it, is that all of that groundwork that they laid gave us the tools. So we're going in going, no, we don't want you to forget about the original. We want you to see what the original made us inspired to do, right? Like you said, like laying the foundation for us to go and say, this is our retelling because of the years that we all grew up watching it, because of like what would be our version of a Sidney Dean, right? My character is Kamal. What would be my version of Woody's character, and that's Jeremy, right? And so it's like, all right, like this is a rebooting and a reimagining of what those guys did to pave the way for us.
Yeah, and going deeper into those characters and like a backstory and stuff.
Right.
But when you hear that this is what they want to do,
Right.
and I'm pretty sure that you're past this point of your career as an actor where you're not walking around going like, here's my resume with the headshot and like the list and stuff. But this is one of those that you were like on like skills that you would put, yeah, I know.
Oh, that was on Special Skills.
Yeah, Special Skills.
Basketball was on Special Skills because I spent a large part of my early days doing a lot of commercials. And shout out to the whole basketball community that came up with me, because there's a lot of like my brothers and sisters where we all did basketball commercials together. And I actually was pursuing acting at the time. They were, on break from overseas basketball, college basketball. But once I got out of college, I was like, all right, acting is my thing.
Yeah.
But when I knew that special skill could book me jobs, I was like, special skill basketball. Yeah. Was a D1 basketball player. And I came in every audition ready. I brought my ball with me to auditions at that time.
That's what you got to do. You got to do it that way.
You had to. You know?
Oh my, that must have been really intense to like, because I know how hard it must be to, one, play basketball and make the high school team, but then go on and play in college D1. Yeah. That intensity or a commitment, what was it about basketball that actually taught you things as an actor?
And I see it now, and I actually had one of my first agents was saying why she loves representing athletes or former athletes, because there's a level of structure and discipline. We're very self-motivated, right? I think for me, I always try to find a structure, a discipline, a pattern of what I can follow, because I had to do that. I think people don't really know, and I think we're unpacking now because social media is so much more expansive. College basketball is a job. And it's fun in middle school, it's fun in high school, it's fun in AAU, but when you get to college, this is a job. This is your salary. This is what is required, and this is what you need to do. You are accountable for this, and if you do not meet these deliverables, you will not have a job next year. So it was like early on-job training. Yeah. And it's the same in acting and the same in performing as an artist. Like I think there is the art and there is the commerce. And so it's like, all right, acting is the love. Acting is the passion. I love it. I do it every day. But the job requirements are to be on time, to be prepared, to be on set, right, and to be an asset to the project. So those are things that I think athletics gave me a natural inclination towards, and so I never forget those foundation building years.
Yeah. So White Men Can't Jump, the script comes to you. What was your initial thought? Because obviously everyone's going to have these preconceived notions of like this remake, it's iconic. Like you said, Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, Rosie Perez. Like, what were your first thoughts on it? When
I first read it, I was like, well, they're remaking White Men Can't Jump. I was like, really? Okay, let me read it. And so I read it, and I was like, oh, and I was so grateful that it wasn't the same. I originally went into it going, what are they doing? Like, are they trying to tell the same story, or what's going on? Then I was like, oh, this is a different story. And much like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air existed and Bel-Air now exists in the TV space, I was like, oh, I get it. Yeah. We're taking it tonally and we're updating it to a totally different space. And that's what made me have like a lot of peace and excitement to want to do it. Yeah. Because I think the elements and the themes are so different now. But when I first read it, I was like, what's going on here? And then I was like, oh, it's different. All right, cool, bet. I like this.
I appreciated the more of the backstory in your character, along with obviously Lance Reddick.
Yes. Shout out to Lance.
Him being your father and like being a driving force there, but then obviously the whole like a temper and the anger there and the like meditation. Like I just enjoyed the deeper dive, because when you do see the original, there is, not that it's surface, but you wonder more things about their personalities, who they are really behind the scenes. I enjoyed that part. What was it like hearing, oh, Jack Harlow is going to be in with you?
You know what? I really follow a certain law of life where I do not judge people until I meet them, right? And I've been blessed to work with a lot of rappers turned actors, right? Like we mentioned, like I've worked with Method Man, I've worked with T.I., I've worked with 50 Cent, I've worked with a lot of people where I've seen them come in and be great scene partners. So I really allowed it to walk into the space with an open palette, with an open canvas, and just say, who are you? What is this? Right. And then shout out to all the meditators out there. Meditation is a part of my daily practice. Nice. One of my deeper meditations is always, what is this in life? Right. What is this? And don't judge it, but let it be. Let it flow with you. And I remember when Jack and I first met, and I was like, oh, we function off the same core right now. We are on the same wavelength right now. So there was no preconceived notion other than just like, I'm going to meet him and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, that must have been a blessing for him too, being, like you said, I've already worked with 50 Cent. I've already worked with T.I. I'm not one of these actors that's going to come in and say, oh, and like a music artist can't be an actor as well. Did he ever share with you maybe him being nervous or like how did he going into this?
Jack doesn't get nervous. No, I was playing. No, it's funny. No, he never shared it with me that he was nervous, but he asked a lot of questions.
Okay.
And I think more than anything, he knew what he didn't know. So I never felt an idea of like he was nervous as opposed to it was like, hey, I know that I'm foreign to this space and I'm going to lean in and I'm okay to make mistakes. And I think that's a sign of true confidence because he was like, I'm okay to mess up. I'm okay to make mistakes. I'm not worried about being judged for like not having it all figured out. Yeah. And that's something I truly respected because I think had it been more nerves, then you're going to be like nervous even in the scene with the person going, are we going to figure this out? And there was no ego to it, but I definitely could tell like he was a sponge. He would ask, even from technical questions on set, he was asking a lot of questions. And I was like, all right, he's really committed to wanting to do this.
And also Vince Staples. And he's so funny.
So funny and so intelligent too.
What was it like having him on set?
A gift. Like I both of those guys coming from the music space as rappers are so intuitive and so intellectual in their respective lanes. And I'm really excited for what Vince does in the future. I'm really excited for what people are going to see from him as a mind because when Vince will say stuff to you and he'll break things down from elements of gentrification to, you know, African transition from history to slavery and all these things that are just percolating in his mind. He's funny, but it's also like he's so intelligent, and I'm excited for what that world opens up to become in his future and his career.
Same. I feel like a lot of people do not know what Vince is like. Not that what he's capable of, but just like everything that involves.
No one knows but Vince. Yeah. Like Vince, like when you catch up to Vince's intelligence, he's like, yeah, I knew. He's like so. Oh yeah, he's so nonchalant. He's like, let me break down to you why. Like at the end of the day, why Cheetos is trying to like rip us off, and he'll like break it down, and then you go, I never thought about it. He'd be like, y'all want some Cheetos? Like, like he'll break it down.
That was a great Vince impression. Yeah. So when it comes time for the basketball scenes, being a former D1 player, how long did it take you to kind of get back into the rhythm of being a basketball player?
You know, I always say this. I think naturally, I still get up shots every week just because I think the competitive nature in me, you never know when someone's going to challenge you to a shoot off. And I say the heater stays ready. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm always getting up my jump shots just in case someone wants to just challenge. If I see you on the street, you want to challenge me, it's going to be a long day for you because I really do get up shots every week just to be prepared. But to get back in basketball shape was a whole other thing because I run consistently. Distance, I do intervals, I do sprints. I stay consistent in my regimented workout, right? Eat healthy, all those things. Basketball shape, everyone knows, is different. And I remember Game Changing Films, who was our coordinators on the film, they had called me and they were like, okay, we're going to get him to rehearsals. We have so many days. I was like, I don't need all those days. What y'all talking about? I was like, did they not tell you?
That your trash talking's already starting.
Like, did y'all not understand who y'all casted? Rehearse for what? and they were like, no, it's not for the basketball. It's for you to get in basketball shape. I was like, I'm in shape.
You thought?
Who are y'all talking about? I was like with my agent, send him a video, send him a picture. What are they talking about? And then we get back to working out in the gym, and I was like, yeah, I forgot basketball shape is different.
Oh my gosh.
So it took me about 2 weeks to get back into like that running, that constant start and stop. And then we were off to the races. But the first day I was like, man, I haven't worked out this hard in a long time.
Yeah, it gave you flashbacks, I'm sure.
It gave me flashbacks of my coach yelling at me doing suicides. I mean, it gave me flashbacks of like, you know, how fast we would just move, how quick decisions had to be made. I got very comfortable as a pickup basketball player just pulling up from three. Yeah. And it was like, no, you need to start getting in the lane, making those same decisions again, and just the reaction time. Yeah. You know, and I think there was one day, like, I had reacted to a defensive play, and I was like, ooh. I was like, okay. That's a hamstring right there. Yeah, we need to massage that out.
This age is different.
This is different. I was like, okay, so they're like, we can just take. I said, yeah, let Jack. Y'all just get coverage of Jack right
now. Who were you most nervous to have watch this film?
Oh, you know what? I'm excited for the older generation to watch it.
Okay.
And nervous is at the same time because I want to make sure that they love it, right? And I'm really excited for Wesley to watch it, and I'm really excited for Woody to watch it, and I really want their feedback because for me, growing up a kid playing basketball, White Men Can't Jump was one of my most iconic movies. White Men Can't Jump, Sunset Park, He Got Game, Glory Road, Coach Carter. Those are movies that I loved, and those brothers are two of the most talented actors that I've ever seen. I patterned a lot of my style after those two men.
Yeah.
So not so much nervous, but I'm excited for them to watch it and to get their feedback, in the process because I would love to just continue to learn from them.
All right, we're going to play first and last.
Okay.
What was your first job?
My first job was cleaning office buildings at night.
Really? How old were you?
I was not old enough to be working.
I'm going to get someone in trouble.
I got paid in cash.
Nice. Hey, my first job too was paid in cash. I was like, thank you, taxes. All right, last person that made you starstruck.
Malia Obama.
Nice.
Malia Obama. I ran into Malia Obama and didn't even recall that I had never met her before. And so I said, hey, what's going on? And then she was like, hey, she was so sweet. I was like, oh, all good. And then I sat down at the table because she was sitting opposite. And I was like, oh, I don't know her. And I was like, then it hit me. And then the wave of like, did I say something wrong? Did I say anything bad? Well, I was like, what was I talking about? Did I say anything about her dad? No, I didn't. I was just like going in and I was spinning.
My gosh.
That was the last person, and she was so lovely. She was so sweet. But yeah, Malia Obama.
It happens sometimes because as someone who's not like a famous actor or anything,
Yeah.
I remember there was one time I saw somebody that was famous, and I went up to like wave, like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yo!
I know. And then I was like,
I don't know you.
was so embarrassing.
no, that happened to me. I was literally like, yeah, no, I never met her in my life.
wow. What age were you with your first love?
Maybe 13.
Really?
I would say the first girl that I thought I loved was 13. And then the first girl that I did love was probably about 20,
Okay.
21.
That's a good age to be. A good age for like that real love.
Real love.
Real
Then I
love.
had the love where I was like, I thought I loved her. And every Usher song was me and her. I was like, she knows it's me, I'm Usher. I'm taking my shoes off and I'm sliding across the floor to talk to you.
Last time you did something that scared you.
In Austin, Texas, I went ziplining.
And you were scared?
I was scared because we were up really high.
Ooh.
But I have an uncanny agreement in my life that anything that makes me fearful, I have to run towards it.
Definitely.
I will never run away from it. So it was like once I saw it and I felt this trepidatious energy, I was like, I got to go do it.
Okay. And you did it.
I got to go do it.
You
Anything
did.
that scares me, I will run towards, which is maybe not always a good thing, but I will always run towards fear.
As you
so
should.
that it doesn't control me.
As you should.
That's a deeper unpacking. I don't know.
First time you've had that feeling of, I made it.
First time I felt like I had the feeling of I made it is when my mother and my grandmother stopped trying to tell me to go get a real job. Because for a long time, they were like, you need to just go be a lawyer. They were like, I was like, Mom, I'm paying my bills, I'm paying my rent. Like I'm actually okay. You need to just go to grad school.
Oh.
You need to just go to med school. I was like, I don't even like science. I'm not even good at that.
And now what do they say? Like, ooh, baby, I saw the new poster.
Yeah, now I mean, every time if I get somewhere after my mom gets there, everyone in there knows I'm coming. Like she is the welcoming committee. They're like, we heard you were an actor and you need to have a special suite to go cash your check. And I'm like, I really don't. I really am not. I don't need the VIP suite. Like I get it. I'm not even a banking at your bank. I'm not a private banker at all.
She must be so like proud of you. Well, your whole family, I'm sure, is all proud of you.
They are very, very proud. And I think, what I'm really, truly grateful for, not just my family, but a lot of my friends. I was blessed to grow up with a lot of really good human beings that respectively in all the lanes of our life, we've all tackled levels of success or accomplished levels of success in different industries. And so not just my family, but my friends as well. And I'm equally just proud of them too.
What does that feel like to look around and see your successes, but then know that these people that have been such a huge part of your life for years are around you too, like still?
I think that's the best part.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the true legacy right there is the community. And to have people that I know can speak life into me and just know me on my journey, right? Know me when my elbows were ashy, know me when I lost my first teeth, you know what I mean? Know me when I didn't have any money, know me when I was struggling, and knowing, living in low income housing, like all the things that I went through, and they were on the journey with me.
Yeah.
And so we can all arrive at this place, and it's a celebration, right, at each step. And my friends make me feel good, and I'm grateful for it. They make me feel good even if it was like, man, you went to that Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Did you see how you walked down that aisle at Whole Foods, man? And I'm like, yeah. So it's not so much just being an actor who's accomplishing success, but just being a good human.
Yeah.
And growing into being an even better man. And so they're just like, man, you doing it, bro. Like I saw you when you think about that, man. You opened that wallet and you bought that ice cream bread wet. Killing it.
I love the support. I want to talk. I really love your career because you've been in so many things that I really liked, and I want to kind of go back to one of the first ones, Friday Night Lights.
Let's go.
That was my show.
Yeah.
That's such an amazing show, Peter Berg. What did working on Friday Night Lights teach you as a young actor?
Truly. You know what? I'm shout out to the entire cast of Friday Night Lights, the creators, like you said, Peter Berg, Jeff Runner, the showrunner. But I worked with some phenomenal actors: Jesse Plemons, Minka Kelly, Taylor Kitsch, Amy Teagarden, Michael B was on there at the time. Aldous Hodge was on there at the time.
That's right. Yeah.
I learned so much, specifically from Connie Britton and Kyle Chandler. They taught me how to be the lead of something by the way that they carried themselves. And they were always so open and so gracious. I think Kyle was one of the best lead actors I've ever worked with in my life.
Wow.
He was so kind to me. He was so open with me. Connie, the same thing. And I've always patterned relationships that I have with scene partners, specifically women, when we're working together and we're telling a story like myself and Teyana in this movie. One of the things they always made an agreement was we will not let our relationship fall, meaning like them as husband and wife in that show. And I learned that. And so when I walk in with an actress and we're trying to create a story and we have to, find chemistry, I remember just watching them.
Yeah.
And sitting in on one of their rehearsals at a restaurant and just watching them how they would work together and run together and just were friends. And so similarly, when you see myself and Teyana in White Men Can't Jump, I've known Teyana for a long time and I use a lot of those lessons from Connie and Kyle into the relationship of how to just make sure we will not let each other fall. I'm here for you. I will support you, and we'll lift each other up. And you feel that in the movie too, especially the support for each other when it comes to that. Okay, so right now we're seeing a lot of The Little Mermaid is coming out, and obviously there are haters. There's haters everywhere. But you played Lancelot. You also played a character that historically is only supposed to be white. Yeah. What was that like for you so early on, paving the way? You know what? I feel like I redundantly always say like gratitude and grateful. But I'm there's a great deal of gratitude, and I'm eternally grateful for being selected to play that character. And I, at the time, did not even know who the character was. Like, I remember I went in, and they were like, you need to have a British accent. So I was like, listen, man, I'm going to go in there and just like do this accent, right? And I'm just going to talk and be this guy, right? And then they're like, can you do an American accent? I was like, yeah, all right, guys. And they're like, your American accent is great. I was like, like, he's the guy, right? And so I ended up booking this role. Originally, I just thought his name was Knight. I thought he was just like a new Knight of the Round Table. Didn't have the legacy of understanding why. And then later when I booked it, my manager called me. She was like, you got the part on Once Upon a Time. I said, great. She was like, you're going to play Sir Lancelot. I was like, are they sure? I was like, I read for Knight. They're talking about me? Yeah. Because I'm Knight. She was like, no, that was a code name. Knight is Sir Lancelot. I was like, oh. And so then I got the backstory. And then I just became even more honored. And I was like, wow, I'm so grateful to be able to be a part of this, to inhabit this. And then it comes down to the idea, like we talked about earlier, of representation. How do I become a very positive and active representative for representation for the future? Right. So we can be a small piece of what we have now in Little Mermaid, and I know she does phenomenal. But there needs to be more stories like that. So I was grateful to be a part of that lineage. I love that. Don Cornelius. How was that? Like portraying someone who is real rather than a fictional character? An honor. It was an honor. I knew Don Cornelius on Saturdays because Soul Train came on right after my cartoons. I watched X-Men religiously. I'm a huge X-Men fan. Listen, I was watching it from the origin. I still wanted everybody to live long. Like, I love that they were real humans in X-Men. Going a whole tangent about that. And then Soul Train would come on. And so I knew who he was. And I didn't know his backstory. I didn't understand the legacy. And so then when you get a role like that, you step in and you want to do the research and you want to know whose story are you telling. And then that's when I got a chance to unpack. And then I remember meeting his son, Tony Cornelius, who is a big brother to me in this industry now. And I just remember being like, wow, I'm honored and thank you, because I remember meeting him throughout the casting process, and I genuinely just wanted to talk to him because I could tell he carried the legacy of his father. And a lot of what I patterned in the show is very much so done by way of observing Tony. And I remember telling Tony that I was like, yeah, I kind of just took that from you. He was like, why did you take that from me, man? And I said, well, if you are your father's son, then you adapted a lot of his mannerisms, so I'm going to get it firsthand.
Yeah.
So I would put my hands in my pockets the way he walked. I would watch people the way he did things. And it was funny because he laughed and he was like, oh, I do see that. And I was like, yeah, I figured you guys can't be that far apart.
You can't be that far apart. Okay, Sinqua Walls, White Man Can't Jump.
Yes.
Obviously, you need teammates in it.
Yes.
But we are a hip-hop station here. I want to know right now, you got to pick 4 other rappers to be on your team.
Okay.
Which rappers are you picking?
4 other rappers to be on my team. Jack Harlow, because he can shoot.
Okay.
Need a shooter in the corner. 2 Chainz, because he's tall and he'll slash to the basket and he'll rebound. Master P, because he actually can hoop.
That's true.
50 Cent, because I know he's going to set screens, and he's like that guy you need on the team is like an enforcer.
And then trash talker, too.
Yeah, he's a good trash talker, and I know that he's like a Draymond. You know, 50's like a Draymond. Like, he's going to get it all done.
Yeah.
And he's like, cool, I'm good with that.
I think that's it.
Is that it?
Yeah, because you would be the 5th player.
I'd be the 5th player. Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know if I was coaching this team.
Nah.
Because the 5th, I picked the game, because I know the game is also going to be an enforcer, too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
6th player.
Are you a Laker fan? Because I know that you grew up in LA. I just want to make sure that you see some people around LA say they're from LA and then they not be like LA fans.
I see how I try to look this way. There's no one over there. But I was looking at someone else, being like, what? I'm actually a Clipper fan.
See? Oh my gosh, me too though.
Let's
I
go.
love the Clippers.
I'm a Clipper
I
fan.
love both. I always say all LA teams I support, I root for, but I do love the Clippers.
Right now, I'm rooting for the Lakers.
As
I will
we
be
should.
honest. Like, I am rooting for the Lakers.
Yes.
I'm rooting for LeBron, his legacy. I want to see them do it. But just by upbringing, I am a Clipper fan. I grew up next to the LA Coliseum when they were playing there, and the tickets were only $10 for copy credit and a meal and some chips. You know, I am a Clipper fan from the first time we had Lamar Odom, Derek Martin, Cuttino Mobley. Like, I'm there.
When I was younger, I think I was
Brand.
like in high school or something like that. My dad got to hand out the ball game at a Clipper game, and so like they let us, him and his company. They were in a suite.
Yes.
We took home the ball. I got to go with him, and so ever from that moment, I was like, anyone that lets my dad do that, I'm gonna be a fan of them. And that was one of the reasons.
Let's go.
Why?
But that to that point, I think what people forget is that the Clippers early on were just a very community-driven team. And I'm not saying they're not now, because they still are, but I think fans have fun at the Clipper game.
Yeah.
I remember getting invited to a Laker game when I got to high school, and my friends in high school had Laker tickets. And I went, and I remember the Kiss Cam came on, and when it came on, this guy was sitting next to his girl. He looked at the camera, he was like, yeah. That's the Lakers. Okay. You go to the Clipper game, the guy was tonguing his girlfriend down. And it was just so much more of a celebration. I was like, they're a part of the community. Laker fans were like, what? It's Hollywood, man. Superimpose a kiss, please.
Do your friends hate on you for being a Clipper fan?
All the time.
I know.
But I'm loyal. Like, every year I get that text like, ha. And I'm like, I get it. But I'm not, like, I don't turn coat.
You can't
You know what I mean?
can't disrespect
I'm
your
a
team.
good spouse. I'm going to stay with you till the end. Till
There
death
it
do
is.
us part. Like, I'm 30 years in now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to stay with you.
What about baseball? You a baseball fan?
I am a baseball fan. I'm becoming more of a baseball fan.
How come?
Just because it's a good game.
Okay.
And I've gone to enough games that I enjoy it. I would say, honestly, the Giants are my team. I know. I didn't start falling in love with baseball till I got to college.
Thanks, guys. Sinqua Walls.
It's been
We're
real.
done.
Thank you for having me.
Giants.
I know. I didn't.
You know what though? I feel like
Anaheim
my I feel like my hate more for the Astros lives stronger than my hate for the Giants. But I don't like the Giants.
I get it. I wasn't.
But I don't get why you are.
Well, because when I fell in love with with baseball, I was in college. I lived in San Francisco. Barry Zito was still trying to figure it out. Right, it was like, okay,
we're gonna convert you.
Yeah,
we're gonna convert you.
I'll take it.
Dodgers. Come on.
I still love the Dodgers. Like, they're my second team, right? And if you see me out in the streets, just know
Dodgers are like your mistress.
I'm side chick.
Side chick. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Still have value. Mistresses are secret. Side chicks are known about.
I do also want to ask, what was it like working with 50 Cent?
That's a joy. Like, you know what? I can genuinely say I've learned the most from anybody in this industry from 50 Cent. That guy has been like a big brother and a mentor to me. He's taught me the most. He's one of the most classy businessmen I've ever met. He's intelligent. He explained a lot. He took me under his wing and he showed me so much love and grace.
Yeah.
But I showed up and did the job. And I think one thing about 50 is he respected that I cared about my craft. And so because of that, in the same way that he cares about his music, his art, his business, he really just shepherded me on.
Did you always want to stay on his good side, though, so that he wouldn't troll you online like he does so many? We love you, 50, don't worry.
You know what's funny is like, yes, but I also think my grandmother always taught me how to naturally have an intuitive nature and how to stay on people's good side, right? Like, not in a way of like being less than myself, but I just started watching like, okay, like, you guys are putting yourself in his sights.
Yes.
And so for me, I was like, look, I'm over here. I'm in the acting space, brother. Like, I asked him a question. Hey, man, I'm over here acting, brother. Like, I don't know anything else. But my grandmother always kind of told me, like, you know, mind your, what is it called? It's not mind your bases. I forget what the term is, but just kind of be. It's in the 48 Laws of Power. Mind your masters, like something like that. But I just knew to listen to this man because he has so much wisdom. And to stay on his good side was more me just being like, don't rock the boat.
Do you do social media a lot? Are you like really into it?
I'm aware of it.
Okay.
I try to mitigate it, right? I have no issues with social media, but for me, I'm just more of a tangible individual. I like to connect with people.
Yeah.
I like to talk to people. So I modulate. I more so modulate social media.
Nice. I also saw that you did know Nipsey Hussle in real life.
Yes.
I think we say this so much in the neighborhood that we all knew Nipsey was special when he was here. Like this wasn't like we would always get so excited when he would come to the neighborhood, and he taught us so many lessons as well. What is something that Nipsey taught you?
Authenticity. You know, I said this, which was why I'm so proud of him still, because I saw his career take so many different new heights, and like you said, you guys know him from so many years as an artist, but I saw his career take so many different new heights because he was living so truthfully in his authenticity, right? And that's really what his last album even talked about, and that's what a lot of his voice and his imagery was talking about, was his authentic, grounded truth. And that's innately who Ermias was. Like he was always moving with that level of truth, and he was unapologetic about who he was. I have so many stories of childhood where he would literally call someone out if they were like moving kind of wrong, and he was not intimidated by anyone. And I just always had so much love and affinity for him.
He was very brave and very, like you said, he was him. But he acknowledged everybody.
Yeah.
He was very kind as well and very nice. I like I said, we always enjoyed a visit from Nipsey, and we try to make sure to always honor him still and love him and blast his music.
Me
of course,
me too. I feel like truthfully because like like you said, a lot of people don't know is that we actually grew up together. We were neighbors. We knew each other from your childhood friends. A part of this race that I'm running in the ascension of success that I'm accomplishing is also with him. It's with him and a lot of the brothers and sisters that grew up with me in the same block, and we kind of just rode together. We were a whole little unit, a whole little crew. So I'm really grateful. Thank you for that question. I'm really grateful to continue on this path to just lift him up in every way.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, White Man Can't Jump is here. You've been busy, obviously. We talked about the movie, but what is next for you?
What is next? I have a movie coming out June 9th called Minnie the Lion, starring myself and Brian Cox. We both executive produced that. It's my first producerial. I learned so much from him.
Yeah.
I've been grateful to have so many just wisdom givers in my life on this current course and season of my life and career. But it's our first time I've executive produced something and produced something.
Wow, congratulations.
He and I are co-executive producers on that. So shout
How
out
much
to that.
of fly fishing, right?
Yes.
How much of fly fishing can you actually do on your own now?
Oh, I can fly fish.
Oh, you can?
Oh, I can fly fish.
Okay. Special skills.
It's a special skill that I would, hey, you need another fly fisher? Me, Martin Scorsese, and Leonardo DiCaprio. It's a fly fishing movie. However we figure it out, that's the pitch. And then I have The Blackening coming out June 16th. Written by Dwayne Perkins, starring Dwayne Perkins, myself, Melvin Gregg, Antoinette Robinson, Grace Byers, ex-Mayo, Jermaine Fowler, Jay Farrow, Yvonne Orji. It's a summer comedy horror thriller that I'm really excited about. And then I have a movie coming out towards the holidays called Carry On with myself, Jason Bateman, and Taryn Edgerton, and Danielle Detweiler.
What was it like working with Jason Bateman?
You know what? A gift. Like Jason Bateman, it's not just because of right now, but because of the history that he has in this business,
Yeah.
he can make the hard seem so easy. Nothing is ever complicated to Jason Bateman. It's all solution based,
Yeah.
right? He's just like, okay, great. And I just loved watching poise of how he would take in, because he also comes from that directorial mind. He would take things in and go, okay, let's do that. And it was just so quick.
Nice.
His decision making, and as I aspire to just to carry many hats in this industry, that's someone whose process I'm going to steal a lot from. Michael Caine wrote this book, Acting in Film, and in the book he says all great artists steal, and if you're going to steal from the best, and he's one of the best.
You know, he's a really big Dodger fan.
Well, I'm sorry, Jason. I mean, I don't like you as much now.
No, I'm going to get him to take you to a game.
Oh yeah, you know what? As a matter of fact, take me to a game.
We love him at Dodger
You know what?
Stadium.
I love you too. Take me to a game, pick me up, and I will go. Matter of fact, send a helicopter. Okay. If I'm in another if I'm in another state, send a jet, because you got it, and I want to fly on a jet.
Sinqua Walls, thank you so much for coming by. Everyone, please go watch White Man Can't Jump. It is on Hulu right now. It's been such a pleasure to sit down with you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.